Mardana asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji with great surprise that he did not understand one thing. Nanak, when we were staying in the previous village, you blessed them and said to stay where you are, whereas no person from that village even gave us water to drink. And a few days ago, when we were staying in such a good village, where the people were so good who were always engaged in our devotion, you blessed them and said to get displaced. I did not understand this puzzle. The good people should get displaced and the bad people should remain. This is not justice. Nanak, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, smiled and said to Mardana, Mardana, the more good people get displaced, the better it will be for this world, because displacement means scattering, spreading. So the more good people spread in the world, the more goodness will spread and the world will become better. But the bad people who do not have goodwill in their hearts, if they stay in one place, then their evils will not be able to spread in the world, and that is why the world will remain saved from evil. The only difference is, it is about our perspective. If you change your perspective, then the world changes. Due to his nature, man always tries to find solutions to his problems in the same way, but never thinks about the problem by changing his perspective. When a problem arises, sorrow gives rise to sorrow, and the mind gets hurt, and the man goes into depression. He does not feel like doing anything. It is not that he does not want to do it. He wants to do it, but it does not happen. And gradually, the efforts also disappear, and the man also disappears. When man focuses his attention on his problems, he realizes that problems are opportunities. Opportunity is hidden in the problem itself, and the one who finds opportunity in the problem becomes successful in life. The one who is sitting considering the problem as a problem gets surrounded by depression. Despair surrounds him, and that sadness affects not only him, but also the world around him. A depressing environment prevails in his family, his friends, and his relatives, and gradually everyone distances themselves from the man surrounded by depression. And just like that, the thrill in a person's life ends. No one is happy. No wave of liveliness remains. After assessing any problem from all sides, does it really seem like a problem? For this, listen to this story. A very respected and beloved king of his people used to rule his kingdom. Everyone respected him a lot, but in his own eyes, the king did not respect himself at all. Physically, he was blind in one eye and one of his legs was also cut off. One day, while roaming in his palace, he was looking at the pictures of his ancestors very carefully. But after his grandfather, then his father, all of them looked like great kshatriyas. While looking like this, he reached a corner where no picture was being put up, but his picture was to be put there. Suddenly, seeing that corner, the king became very sad. He felt that in my family, in my lineage, all were so beautiful and talented kshatriyas. Seeing their pictures, my chest swelled with pride. But when the people who come will ask me, how ashamed and embarrassed they will feel. I am blind in one eye and I don't have one leg. And the next day, after consulting his minister, he said, it was announced in the entire kingdom that whoever makes the most beautiful picture of the king will be rewarded with 1,000 gold coins. Many painters started painting the king's picture, but the problem was how to make a beautiful picture of the king, because the king himself was blind and had one eye and one leg missing. How can anyone make him look beautiful? But a skilled painter made such a picture of the king that the king was very happy to see it, and instead of 1,000, he gifted 200,000 gold coins. That picture of the king was the most beautiful among all his ancestors. The king was the most skillful and brave among all the pictures of his family. The painter had made a picture of the king sitting on a horse. The cut leg had been cleverly moved to the other side of the horse. The king was aiming with his arrow with one eye closed. That is why it was not clear in the picture whether the king was blind or lame. Very cleverly and skillfully, the painter had hidden the flaws in his picture which the king had not seen. It seemed like a huge problem to him, but from that problem, a picture was created of him which none of his ancestors had. The problem itself is the solution. There is only this much difference of perspective, and the one who removes this difference, he crosses the line according to the principle of karma of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever is happening for good. Whatever happened was also for good, and whatever will happen will also be good. The fruit of karma is not achieved until the fixed period of that karma is not completed. Man dies only in a fixed time. The crop ripens and gets ready only in a fixed time. Then why does man not understand that only in a fixed time he will get the success of his karma? He will get the fruit of his karma. And if someone gives up before that fixed time, then you must have seen such people around you who change their goal in a short time, and due to constantly changing goals, their mind never stops at one place. They are not able to achieve success in their work. Along with this, their mind also starts getting distracted, starts running here and there. Their attention is not able to focus anywhere. If you look at their eyelids, then his eyelid keep wandering here and there. Eyelid is a form of our mind. A man who keeps moving forward towards his single goal with a strong determination will usually see that his eyes are also steady. His eyelids do not wander here and there. His goal is clear. That is why his eyes, music brutally means the middle part between our eyes. Every story can have two endings. Similarly, every problem has another aspect. To understand the other aspect of the problem, to turn the problem into an opportunity, the same other aspect has to be understood. There are three easiest ways to reach the other aspect of the problem. First, think about whatever problem it is, how much harm it can cause you. What are its disadvantages? When you understand deeply, you will come to know that the problem cannot trouble you as much as you are internally troubled. So worrying so much about that problem, being so sad, giving so much pain to the mind is not right at all. If you open your eyes and consciously think about that problem, then the problem cannot trouble you as much. If we think about it, we can reach the other side of the problem. When we think that this problem can be turned into an opportunity, what steps do we have to take to change this problem? What benefit can we get from this problem? The second way is to ask yourself whether this is really a problem or is it an opportunity that has come in front of us to make us better in life. Just as the clay becomes a pot only after being beaten by the potter, and only after that it gives cold water to everyone, similarly, until problems do not come in a person's life, he will not learn to turn problems into opportunities, and his spiritual and inner development will never happen. The more problems a person faces in his life, the better he becomes internally. His consciousness starts rising internally because he goes beyond any problem or any opportunity. His mind starts disappearing gradually. Now he is able to live in the problem in the same way as he sees himself in the opportunity, and that is why his consciousness does not get fragmented. It becomes one, it becomes non-dual, it becomes choiceless, and this kind of samadhi is called nirvikalpa samadhi, where duality and doubt disappear. Bad, darkness, light. All this dalliance ends when he understands that good and bad are two aspects of the same part. Darkness is created from light and light is born from darkness. And then he understands that life and death are the same, both are two sides of the same coin. There is no difference between the two, and those who understand this go beyond the principle of karma because they are not doing anything for the fruits of karma. They have gone beyond karma completely. That is why karma is never accumulated in their life, and that is why they move towards liberation very fast. Friends, in the end, I want to say one thing. Those who plant trees knowing that they will never be able to sit in its shade have actually understood the meaning of their life. In the old kingdom of Magad, there used to live a very rich businessman. He had a lot of wealth, but one day he calculated and found that all the wealth he had would be sufficient only for his children. He started thinking that how will he arrange for money for his children's children and the generations to come after them in the absence of money? His life will become very difficult. Thinking about this, he became very worried. But in those days, Tathagata Gautam Buddha had come to Magad state. Then someone told him that you should go to Gautam Buddha and he will definitely solve all your worries. That businessman reaches Tathagata and says, "Buddha, I want that I should have so much wealth that my children, their children after them, and then their children, and in the same way, if the next several generations also keep using my wealth, then my wealth should never end. Can you give me a blessing or a way to become such a rich businessman?" Gautam Buddha said smilingly, "This will happen, but before that, you go and give one day's food material to the family living in the hut outside the city." Hearing this, the businessman became very happy and immediately took a bag full of food material for one day and reached the hut outside the city. As soon as he went inside the hut, he saw that inside the hut there was an old mother-in-law and her young daughter-in-law. The old woman was sitting and meditating, and her daughter-in-law was cooking in the kitchen. The Seth looked at his daughter-in-law and handed her the bag of food items and said, "I am a rich Seth of this town, and I have brought food for your family for one day." Hearing this, the daughter-in-law refused and said, "But we have food for today." Hearing this, the Seth said, "This will arrange for tomorrow's food. Keep it." The woman said, "Sorry, but we don't store anything for the next day. We make arrangements for our daily food every day." Hearing this, the Seth thought that there are these people who don't even store food for their tomorrow, and there is me who is dying and worrying about accumulating wealth for my future generations. Now the Seth understood why Gautam Buddha had asked him to come to that house. The next day, as soon as it was morning, the Seth again reached Gautam Buddha and said, "I have understood whatever you wanted to explain to me, but will you tell me in detail what worry is, how it arises, and how I am dying because of this worry? How can I stop my mind from getting affected?" And Bhagat started saying that the worry about tomorrow may or may not change our tomorrow, but she definitely takes away our happiness today. Anxiety is a mental illness that snatches away every kind of happiness from our life and makes it dull. Actually, anxiety has no real form. Anxiety is a feeling, a thought that arises from the fear of the future. Thinking again and again about things over which we have no control and about which we cannot do anything is anxiety. Gautam Buddha further said, "Just think deeply once. Try to see that the things in which there is no control at all, that you cannot change even if you want to. If those things, what will happen even if you don't think about it for the whole day?" Hearing this, the merchant asked, "Buddha, what you mean is that we should stop thinking about anything or incident?" Buddha replied, "Whatever problem comes in life, it is the duty of our intellect to think about the problem that is coming or is going to come, but to think about the same problem again and again. It is a mental illness when the mind remains stuck on one incident or one thought about that one thing or incident. If I keep thinking about the whole day and stay focused on only that thing, then such a thought takes away all the happiness, all the peace, all the joy from our life. The simple meaning of worrying is to worry about something that has not happened in our life. Keep thinking." Buddha pointed towards Seth and said, "After all, what will you change by thinking about the same problem again and again? But yes, if you are doing something for it, then you can definitely bring some change. But if you do not change that thing or event, about this, if you stop thinking again and again, nothing will happen. Why do you keep thinking the same thing? Regarding the matter, why do you destroy every happiness and peace of your life with your own hands? People keep worrying about future events, and most of them never happen in their life. There will be no solution to the upcoming problems, but your today's happiness and peace will definitely go away. Once you realize that some of your time filled with worries tires you more than your whole day's hard work, gives actually when an event is real. Even if it happens in life, it does not cause us as much pain as we have caused ourselves by thinking about it in our mind." After listening to Tathagata's sermon, the merchant asked Buddha, "O Buddha, then according to you, what is the right way to live life?" Buddha replied that the other name of the past is regret and sadness, and the other name of the future is struggle. If we have a wish in our mind today and it is not fulfilled, then we start making plans for the future. We start thinking that all our wishes will be fulfilled in the future, but life is neither in the future nor in the past. Life is the name of this moment. That is, the experience of this moment is the experience of life. And even after knowing this, we remain unaware of this truth. Either we remain lost in the memories of the past, or we keep making plans for the future, and our whole life is spent in this. If we adopt only one truth in ourselves, that we can neither change the past, nor can we see the future, we can only welcome the future with full patience and courage and accept it. Hearing this, the merchant said, "Buddha, you are right, but no matter how much you try, you still worry. If not much, then you always worry about your family." Buddha replied, "It is natural to worry, but it is our job to turn that worry into contemplation. Let me remind you of one thing which you already know. This world existed even before you came. This society existed, there was a family, and even when you leave this world, all these things will remain here. Nothing is going to change with your coming and going. In any case, the time before you come and after you leave is not in your hands. The only thing that is in your hands is the time you are living right now, the time in which I am talking to you. You are listening to me. That is all that is in your hands. And every time you get only this small moment in your hands, and then it disappears forever. So what will you do with this moment? You will waste it by worrying. I would say that every person should think about how to use this time to the maximum, how to make the most of it. How can we all do greater work than I can share happiness and live in happiness myself? Remember that worry takes a person to his funeral pyre, and contemplation makes his mind pure gold. Seth said, Buddha, I understand your point that we should not take life too seriously and try to live it in the present with full energy and joy. Seth asked further, but if a person has fallen due to worry, then how to come out of it? Tathagata replied, have you ever come out of a big tunnel? There is such a terrible darkness inside the tunnel that what will happen if we get trapped inside it? How will we get out? But if we look carefully, no matter how big the tunnel is, there is always light on the other side of the tunnel. And if we have to reach that light, then we have to cross that entire tunnel and reach the other end of the tunnel. And in the same way, many times in our life, we find ourselves trapped in a black tunnel of despair and worry from where we cannot see a way out. And it seems that this life will end like this. But in such a situation, just like that tunnel, the light of hope that ends this despair and worry is found only by those who keep moving forward and who keep trying continuously. That is why, if you ever feel sad and worried in your life, do not stop, keep trying continuously. You will definitely get success. By now, Seth had understood the words of Gautam Buddha. He thanked Buddha, bowed to him, and left from there. But before I end the video, I want to remind you of 5 things by which you can remove the problems of your life to a great extent. It has been more than 400 crore years since this earth was formed in the universe, and if you or any ordinary person like me spends time in worry and goes away, then this universe is not going to be affected in any way. Just like when we see a group of ants and can see how small the ants are and how large their number is, similarly, when we will see humans from the universe from a height, then humans will also look like those ants. That is why tell yourself every day that not only do I want to stay alive, but I also want to live forever. To live in joy is to live without worries. The second lesson is that every little thing. For this, we keep worrying like whether we will have to eat cold food today, got stuck in traffic, or someone scolded you. In such a big universe, we keep carrying such small worries unnecessarily on our shoulders, in our mind and brain. The day we take our last breath, we will realize that we have wasted our entire life in these small worries, and what we had to know was the art of living. We could not understand it today. The problems which seem like mountains to us, after some time, turn into the same worries. We laugh at problems. We must have smiled in our life thinking how sad we were over some worry. And that worry was nothing, but we realized this much later. Remember the third thing, just listen carefully. No one is perfect in this world. No one is perfect. Every human being is an embodiment of mistakes. That is why learn to forgive people. Whatever God has created in this world is very beautiful. If you can't see the good in it, this does not mean that those things are bad. Fourth, the thing that will destroy your ego and ego is that help people, do not give them any favors. When we help someone without any greed, we experience an amazing peace and tranquility from within. Gives us strength, and the last thing which is most important to understand is that if someone cheats you, then you do not need to worry. What he did was his karma. Whatever you did is for someone else. Helped that your karma. If you have done your duty, you will definitely get your reward in the future, and the one who is with you, the one who did bad, will also get the consequences of his actions, but you do not need to worry about this. Do not change your nature. We change our nature because we do not experience the consequences of our actions properly. We do not realize it. How do we get the results of our deeds? But for this, you can watch another video on our channel which has been posted recently, in which the law of deeds is explained. If complete information is given about friends, how did you like the story? Comment section, and please tell me if you like it. Do subscribe to Buddha's Beacon channel. See you in the next story. Till then, take care.